Hey guys, welcome to History Behind the Warrior, and today we're going to be talking about Rose from Street Fighter. Now, in order for me to talk about this character, we need to talk about her creation. Now, Rose isn't really a normal human being. She's in fact a being created by removing all of the positive energy within m.bison, because at the time Bison wanted to fully succumb to the psycho power. He could only do this by severing any ties he had to anything with positive energy. So he disposed of all of his positive energy, and this somewhat formed and became a singular being, going by the name of Rose. Don't really see how that's humanly possible or makes sense, but just go with it. Now, when Rose came to be, she didn't have any memory about Bison. Now, the time between her birth and Street Fighter Alpha 2 is shrouded in mystery, but we are aware that she is able to manipulate a new form of energy called soul energy, which is in fact the soul opposite of psycho power. Now, prior to the events of Alpha 2, we learned that Rose is in fact a very talented fortune teller, and through her fortune telling card she has seen the end of days, believing that it will be brought forth by a man by the name of m.bison. Now, I'd like to say that a lot of Street Fighter Alpha 2 and Alpha 3 is now officially retconned, but they haven't specified in what has been and what hasn't been retconned. So for the purpose of trying to be as accurate about this character as I can, I'm going to include all of her story, but like I said, consider Alpha 1 and Alpha 2 very flimsy. Now, at some point during the events of Alpha 2, she'd come into contact with Ryu and give him spiritual guidance, as she was aware that he was currently struggling with the Satsue no Hado. Now, whilst on her way to confront Bison, she comes into contact with Akuma. Sensing his energy, she is able to recognize that this is the same power that Ryu is trying to overcome, and Akuma expresses his dissatisfaction with Rose, as he wishes her to stay out of Ryu's way, allowing him to have the battle he has longed for. But the two come to a disagreement and battle each other, with Rose managing to survive a fight with Akuma. Now, after coming into contact with Akuma, she'd go head to head with Bison, defeating him and apparently killing him. But when she returns home and looks at her fortune cards once more, they in fact tell her that he still lives. Now, in Street Fighter Alpha 3, Rose becomes aware that her and Bison share the same soul. She would later face Bison and attempt to overpower him with her soul power, but at this point it's not enough, and she passes out from complete exhaustion, but luckily is saved by Guy. Now, after Bison is destroyed in Alpha 3, Bison's soul is able to reach out and gain control of Rose's body, in which she'd unknowingly carry out the deeds of Bison, which results in the reformation of Shadaloo, and Bison gaining a new body once more. But when she's released from his hold, she cannot remember a single thing she did under his control. Now, Rose does return in Street Fighter 4, where she learns from her fortune cards that Bison had managed to survive Akuma's raging demon attack, and this would be her motivation into entering the Sin tournament, as she knew that Bison would turn up in it. Though she is aware that she is no way near the power level of m.bison, she does know someone who is. Now, during her participation in the tournament, she'd come in contact with Ryu, a person who she believes could destroy Bison permanently. She'd then purposely throw away the fight, as she hoped that Ryu would come in contact with Bison. Now, at some point after the tournament, she'd be ambushed by Bison, in which he'd steal some of her soul energy. This caused her to have visions about how Bison created her. Guy would then appear and intervene, and Bison would willingly give up Rose, having what he needed from her. Bison would then leave and she'd be left in the care of Guy. And that's really it for Rose, and I do have to admit, I am kind of disappointed. As someone that's supposed to be the polar opposite of Bison, she did seem to come up short a lot of the time, even though she should be on roughly the same power level as he is. And I know Bison has been juiced up to God knows how many times, but if you manage to fight Akuma and survive, you gotta be on a pretty high power level. Now, there's a massive question going around about this character, and that's due to Bison and Rose kind of sharing the same soul. So if Bison now, spoiler alert, dead, does that mean Rose is dead too? I don't know, but we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. Now, I have no idea what I want to do for next week's episode, so please put down in the comments below what you'd like to see. So now, as always guys, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I will see you all next time.